What's up, guys? In this installment of Before They Are Famous, 15 Startup Pivots to Fame, we're going to be going through two companies that I'm pretty sure you've used. Now, the first one is going to be Shopify, and then we're going to deal with Slack. Now, if you want to hear the stories, stick with me right now.
Ask Alex. Ask Alex. Because you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah.
Now, did you know Shopify started as the founders needed an online shopping cart for their snowboarding business? Tobias Luck has said, it's incredibly powerful if you solve the problem you actually have yourself. It's really tough to develop a good product when you don't have very close proximity to the people who actually use your product. The closest proximity you can have to those people is to be that person. Now, when Tobias Luck and Scott Lake decided to build an online store in 2004, they had no idea they would end up creating one of the world's biggest e-commerce platforms. All they planned to do was to build a site where they could sell snowboarding gear. Shopify started as a solution to a problem the founders had personally experienced. The founders wanted to launch an online shopping snowboard shop, but they couldn't find software that worked for them. Luck could describe this way. Tobias Luck has said, I set up an online store based on a variety of different systems, such as Miva, OzCommerce, and Yahoo stores. Truth be told, all those systems made my skin crawl because of how bad they were. The final straw was when I got a custom design made for my snowboarding store, and I couldn't get it to work in the Yahoo stores. We had this great CSS-based layout done with all these newfangled web standards, and the customability of Yahoo stores barely allowed me to change the background color of the top frame. When all life gives you is lemons, and you're a founder, you build a fucking lemonade stand, right? Now, Ledco was a software engineer by trade, but by 2004, he didn't want to work as a programmer anymore. He was burned out. He decided to pursue a passion and open an online store called Snow Devil, where he would sell snowboards from third parties. Right away, he ran into a huge problem. Early tools that Luck had tried to use to build Snow Devil frustrated him. What he really wanted was a simple, user-friendly tool, one that didn't exist yet. Luck had decided that instead of using an off-the-shelf solution like Yahoo stores, he would build an online store infrastructure for Snow Devil from the ground up. Tobias said, at one point, in an especially frustrated moment on a Friday evening, I said, well, if I spend all weekend working really hard, I can probably create the software myself, and then we won't have any of these problems anymore. Now, after 2 months of building on Rails, the bare-bones Snow Devil site was up and running. They had a profitable season of snowboard gear sales in 2004, but the initial response to the Shopify store stood out to them even more than their store. They started passing their e-commerce platform around to some colleagues in the Rails community and got a ton of inquiries about how they built the website. And before long, Tobias and his friend Scott Lake were less motivated to sell snowboards than they were to build a business around e-commerce that they helped create others to sell their wares online. They basically then shelved the Snow Devil idea, and you can probably guess what they focus on. The duo spent a year and a half expanding and improving their software, paying special attention to flexibility. With $200,000 from friends and family and $250K from an angel investor, Tobias and Lake officially launched their customizable online store front builder in 2006, and they called it Shopify. It was a rough start. The co-founders went through salary for nearly 2 years, and shortly after launch, Lake departed. The company was making around $8,000 a month and had a very small customer base of some Rails community members and design-minded individuals. But the most important thing that they had, paying customers. This is when the alignment between a business model and a customer success fell into place. Shopify now focused their product development on building features that help customers sell more, because every sale for a customer meant more revenue and transaction fees for Shopify. For instance, they built analytics into the product that helped merchants track their inventory and sales, which early users loved. The new team's focus on perfecting the creation paid off in 2008 when they became profitable. In 2010, Shopify attracted the attention of investors, securing $7 million in funding. And in 2011, the company raised another 15. Tobias and his early team built an easy-to-use product when none existed and gave small merchants the tools to solve their own problems. This created a new market of people who'd never been able to successfully sell online before, but now they had everything that they needed. They solved the problem for themselves, and it worked out well. Okay, guys, next one we're going to get through is Slack. Now, do you know Slack was an ICQ tool for a startup called TinySpec? So 6 months after leaving Yahoo, post the Flickr acquisition, which we covered in, I think, the first installment of this, Stuart Butterfield's back on it again. He went back to his roots, building games with a company called TinySpec. TinySpec launched Glitch in 2011, a browser-based, non-violent MMO where players roamed the minds of 11 cosmic giants. Rather than fighting each other with swords, players could have their rival religious factions battle each other for converts. Sort of like Monty Python crossed with Dr. Seuss on acid. So TinySpec had grown quite well to a total of 45 employees over the course of 3.5 years. And despite gaining a cult community, Glitch shut down a year later in 2012. The decision was based on the belief that it would never scale to achieve the kind of venture games that their investors would want. The closure was brutal. Butterfield couldn't make it through 60 seconds of telling employees that the game was over without getting upset. TinySpec had, however, money left over from VC investment, and paying that back would have made economic sense. They could have returned the money to shareholders, but the investors took a bet on the team and let them use the money to work on something else. Why did the investors do this? Well, Stuart had a successful history of pivoting. During the development of Glitch, Butterfield's team had written a collaboration tool. Because the team was geographically distributed all over North America, most communication was not face-to-face, but online. Being old school, they initially chatted via RSC. It simply didn't scale as the team increased to dozens of people. They found that this wasn't good enough. So instead of using crappy team messaging software to improve productivity, they just built their own. Then kept adding hacks to add more features till over time it was a fairly decent product. They effectively had built a customized, turbocharged team communication platform. Butterfield said one thing we weren't sure of was that we wouldn't work without a system like that again, and we thought a lot of companies would like to have such a system. The day-to-day socializing during the process of making Glitch turned out to be the use case for a more successful product. Pivot time. By June 2013, they were inviting friends and other companies to try Slack out for themselves. Through sheer word of mouth, Slack's gained 16,000 users since opening a quiet beta. For now, it has a title as the fastest growing company of all time. Boom, mic drop. I mean, Slack is just a massive company. Again, starting out with something that didn't work, but seeing what actually might and what was valuable. And I think that this mentality is something that everyone should be adopting for themselves. Okay, guys, if you thought it was really fun and interesting, please hit like, please subscribe, please share it with your friends, all those annoying things that people ask for. Okay, see you.